Hi there, it's Kelsey with Shipwreck Beads, and it is Friday, December 30th. We are a day away from the new year, or New Year's Eve, and I'm very excited about it. This weekend, joining some family up at Mount Rainier. We're gonna go do some sledding and celebrate my nephew's 3rd birthday. So pretty excited about that. And today I thought we would do a fun little project with some brand new products that we got in. Hi, Pam. We've got these gorgeous crystal pave crystal clasps. We've got them, I think there's 10 or 11 different styles. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different styles. Of these great pave crystal clasps that I want to do a little show and tell, and then we're going to make a project with it. And so I'm really excited. These clasps are absolutely gorgeous. So I'll go ahead and show you some of them. Happy Friday. Hi, Deb. Hi, Rosalind. All right, so they come in 4 different finishes. They've got a bright silver, bright gold, antique gold, and antique silver. And they all have these great like crystal inlay, pave crystal, 2-sided. So there's a heart shape. Hi, Debbie Rogers. Hi, Kathy. All right, so we've got this one here. I'm gonna just do a show and tell of all the different styles. I've got my gear on. So I've got my necklace. I've got these earrings here. Yep, this was a Christmas present for my little brother. He gave us all Seahawks jerseys. So, but yeah, we're gonna talk about these gorgeous pave crystal clasps that we just got in. I love a good lobster clasp, so I'm really excited that we got in these. We also have a just regular standard style lobster clasp. So again, it's got the crystals and they're on both sides. How pretty are these? Let's see, we've got an infinity. We've got this infinity symbol. This is the bright gold here. And you can just go on our website and search pave clasps and they'll come up. I will put a link once we're finished so that you can take a look at those. But yeah, so there's these. And again, they're 2-sided. The lobster claws are anyways. One. We also got in, thanks Carrie. Yeah, they're a good size. They're pretty big, which I really like. We also got some toggle clasps, which the toggles are super cool. So the toggle has the crystals on just one side, so that's the loop. And here is the bar part of the toggle. Ooh, there goes my loop. Let's check that out. It's like a little spike, but it's got crystals all around. How cool is that clasp? And this is the antique silver finish. Okay. I also really like the antique brass finish too. I'm really obsessed with the antique brass right now. I think it goes really well with lots of different things. I love the mixed metal trend, and I think the antique brass pairs well with a lot of the different colors. So here's an antique brass in the toggle. So pretty. And then we've got these really great like art deco-y type clasps. Yeah, you could totally use them for earrings. So these are the like hinge clasps. I don't know what the actual, what they're actually called, but so they've got the little clasp there, and they're the 2 parts. And they're very art deco-y, very elegant. And so this is the style clasp we're going to be using today, is this kind of, so there's the single hole there. And again, each of these clasps come in the 4 colors. So you've got, so yes, this one is antique brass, but they all come in the 4 colors. So they come in the antique brass, antique silver, which is this darker silver. They come in a bright silver, and then the gold. So you've got the 3 color choices to choose from, which is really great. Let's see, we've got some 2-hold clasps, and we're going to be using one of the 2-hold clasps today. So here's another version. Again, they're gorgeous. very fancy. These ones I'm not going to take out of the packages, but I'm just going to hold them up so you can see. So this one's a 3-hole clasp. You can see it's got some like little leaf detail in there. They're pretty. See, this one's on the larger side. So it's got, the loops are kind of inlaid inside this there. Yep, if you're gonna order, you better order soon because our sale is gonna be ending tomorrow. So if you wanna take advantage of our sale that's going on right now, then definitely get your order in before tomorrow. Let's see, and then this one. Here's another 3-hole style clasp. And then, let's see. So here's the clasp we're going to be using today on today's project. This little guy here. And here's the sample that I whipped up before I decided to do the video. So it's like a woven bracelet with leather and curb chain. And then here's one of the final styles of clasp. So they're very pretty. There's lots of different uses, but I love this. Yeah, very sparkly. Love it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to angle you down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Here we go. We do post to Australia. Our shipping is based off of weight, and they start out, I believe, around the $16 mark, and depending on how much your order weighs will determine the cost of shipping. You can email our order department at orders@shipwreckbeads.com to get some more, and they give you a better quote on that. But our shipping is calculated off of the weight of your order. So yes, we do ship to Australia though. We ship pretty much everywhere. So you'll probably be seeing these clasps pop up in some future designs because I love them so much, but I love this little project that I'm doing today, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, so we're gonna need, and I'm using my macrame board to anchor my bracelet to as I do the weaving, and I'm gonna do, so this one I measured out at 6 inches of chain, and that wasn't quite big enough for my wrist, so I'm gonna go 6.5 on this one. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6.5 is right there. All right. And this is soldered chain, so you can't open it like a jump ring. You do have to cut it. And then what I'm gonna do, so what I like to do to line up my chain rather than counting links or just to make sure my chain is even, is I will put it on a piece of wire, right now I'm using a toothpick, and just let it hang and then trim it that way because you can see a lot better the length. All right, so what we're gonna do first is we're going to attach the clasp to, or the chain to the clasp with a couple of jump rings. Get that nice and snug in there. Yeah, I don't have time to count. Well, and sometimes even when you lay it out and measure it with a ruler, you're still gonna sometimes have 1 or 2 links that are off. And this project, it's really important to have your chain be even. And you can always trim it at the end if you do end up having it not be even, but I just like to hang them and then cut from there. Hi, Ginger. All right, so I've got my chain, I'm gonna move this back a little bit, attached to my clasp. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little chunk of extra leather that I have just left over from my last project, and I'm gonna tie it through the clasp. And this is just so that I can anchor it to my board here, because it's really important to be able to keep your chain nice and straight as you go. Okay, and so I've got this really great, hi Arlene, it's like this pearly mint colored leather, and it's a 1mm leather, and you need about 5 feet. And you'll have a little extra left over, but you want to make sure that you have enough, because you can't add more once you get started. So what we're going to do is we want to make sure that our chain is nice and straight, and we're going to thread it through those first 2 links. Actually, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn this over so that you can see a little better what I'm doing without those lines in the way. There. Okay, so you just want to make sure that this chain is nice and straight on here. And so after you thread through those first 2 links in your chain, you want to even up your cord so that you have even amounts of cord on either side, both the left and right. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left cord and I'm going to go through the next open link on the right side. So you're going to do like a crisscross pattern. Okay, and then I'm going to take my cord on the right and I'm going to go through the next open link on the left. And anytime you're doing any type of weaving or anything like that, the first couple stitches are always going to look a little wonky. So that's okay. And then you want to pull it snug, but not super tight. You want there to be a little bit of wiggle room, and you don't want your chain to buckle up on it. Okay. Again, you want to keep your chain nice and straight. So I'm going to try and do this without picking the board up so you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm going to take my chain on the right side, or sorry, the left side, and I'm going to go through, or take my cord from the left side and go through the link on the right side, coming up through the back. So you're going to go over under. Okay. And I try and hold my chain parallel as I'm weaving, because that's going to give you, it's going to be easier to get that together. Okay. All right. And so I always start with the left and go to right and then right to the left. So now we're on top and we're going to thread through the next open from the left to the right, and then we're going to do the same from the right to the left. And so you can see after you get that first couple weaves in, it starts to look a little bit better. And again, you're going to go from the left to the right and then right to the left. So left to right and then right to left. So you could definitely do this bracelet in any color leather. You could also use a 1mm cotton cord instead of leather, which would also give you some more color options as well. Would also probably look really cute with like a suede lace or even ribbon. But I really love the combination of this gold and this pearly mint color. But you can see I'm holding onto the chain as I go, just to make sure my chain stays parallel. Because you don't want your, because it'll look funny if your chain twists on you. But I gotta say, I can't wait to experiment some more with this, with these clasps, because they're just so gorgeous. That twisted in there. Uh-oh. There we go. Sometimes the curly leather has a life of its own. Loving the design. There you go, Debbie. I will say that a flatter chain, I know. Yeah, I'm just weaving it in. I'm just crisscrossing it back and forth. Let me see. Actually, here, bear with me for a second. I can't zoom in, but I can try and bring my work surface a little bit closer to you. How's that? Okay. I can't see your comments now. So if you're commenting, I can't see it. But now hopefully you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. So it's basically an over-ender. So you're going to go from left to right from the underside, and then as the cords are on the top of the chain, you're going to go under, or you're going to go from over. Oh, that one's knotted. So this box that I'm on right now is a vintage Shipwreck Beads box. When we used to, like, this is like way back in the day, probably before I was born, the beads used to be shipped to us in metal or wooden crates like this. So it was a nice little heirloom piece that I was able to inherit from my in-laws, and I use it to keep my tools in. And I also use it as a photo backdrop sometimes because it's got some really cool old chippy paint and it just looks cool. Yeah, it is exactly like lacing a shoe. So it makes an X. So it's going to make an X on the front and then an X on the back. But you could definitely use this and experiment with different types of lacing, whether you want to do the crisscross like a shoelace or however you want to do it. Nope. So you want to make sure you don't want to pull them tight, but you do want your cords to be sort of snug. See them. This is a leather cord, so it's a 1mm leather in like a pearl minty color. Absolutely love this. Yeah, you could definitely use different cords. You could use, I don't know, you can get real creative. If you wanted, like, one thing I was kind of thinking would be kind of cool is if you were to weave your cord through and then trap some rhinestone banding, like rhinestone cup chain through there, would be cool to experiment with, I think. So I might have to try that out and see how that works. Because anytime you can add more sparkle, the better. Let's see, we're running out of space there. So you can see it just comes together really easy. I think the most important thing to remember is just to keep your cord or keep your chain nice and straight, and always start your weave from the same direction. So I'm starting from the left side every time. I did that one wrong. There we go. And it's fairly easy to correct your mistakes. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, you could definitely weave beads into it. I love leather, Rosalind. I especially love mixing leather with like the bright sparkly chain or with crystals, because I love the contrast of the different mediums, because leather just seems so like tough and rustic, but then you add the crystals that are so like dainty and feminine. I just love sort of that contrast of styles and textures. All right. See, we're getting close to the end here. Oh, got that a little twisted. Almost done here. So it does take a little bit of time, but it's actually a pretty quick piece to come together. Got twisted in there. Come on, you. There we go. Ah. Try not to let my chain go. Yeah, it is rather elegant, I think is a good word for it. Especially because I think the pearl leather just kind of adds a little extra oomph to the design. This would be a great piece to wear on New Year's Eve if you've got plans to go out and do some partying. Okay. Oh no, I let go. Okay, so my leather got twisted. Or my chain got twisted. So it's so important to keep your chain straight. Okay. Don't want it to twist. What is going on here? There we go. Just doing so well keeping this straight. See, so that's going to come up through the back. I'm losing it, people. Okay. 2 more links, and we're gonna be done. So close. No. What's going on there? I'm all knotted up. Yep, I am going to be up at Mount Rainier sledding with my daughter and my nephew, who's going to be turning 3. This side first. And then this side. All right, so now we're done with the weaving part. So I'm gonna move this back here, sit back down so I can actually finish this part. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tie a square knot at the end here. But actually, I'm going to attach the other end of my clasp first so that my jump rings will stay separate. And that was just my little scrap piece of cord. So now before I tie this off, I'm going to take my 2 ends of chain and I'm going to attach a jump ring and attach the other side of the clasp to it. And you want to make sure your clasp is facing the right direction, especially with this type of box clasp. It won't work if it's not facing the right way. Okay, so I got that one there. Now we're going to connect the other half of the chain. Because this is a 2-strand clasp, so. Okay, so now you've got your chain attached to your clasp, and so we're going to turn it over whatever side the your weave ends on, and we're just going to do a simple overhand knot. I'm going to do a double knot here. Now with the leather, you don't want to crank on that knot too tight because you can snap the leather, and I don't want that to happen. So now what I'm going to do, before I trim that leather, I'm going to put some glue on the knot. Oh, fun, Ginger. So I'm going to make sure and really get into all the little crevices on the knot so that it makes sure and really sink in. Now usually what I like to do is let the glue dry completely before I trim my cords so that they don't have a chance to slip out, but I'm not gonna wait because this is live video, folks. All right, so there is our bracelet. You can see how pretty that is once it's finished. There you go. All right, let's angle you back up. All All right, so yeah, so there's the little bracelet. Very simple to create, very cute once it's finished too. I just love the way this comes together. Let's put it on. That's what jewelry's supposed to be, right? Yeah, so we did that in less than a half an hour because I think I talked for a little bit before. So there you go. Just very nice, very comfortable. And especially once it gets worn too, that leather's gonna soften up a little bit. And so it's gonna make it really flexible. And then that clasp just really adds a lot of wow factor to it. So I really love that piece. Turned out really nice, especially with that mint color. So I used 6.5 inches of chain, 2 pieces at 6.5 inches, 2 jump rings, or sorry, 4 jump rings, a clasp, and then about 5 feet worth of leather cord. You can find the new pave clasps on our website. Just search for pave clasp. I will put a link up to the product so that you can take a look at that also. But yeah, just search pave clasps. You can find, we've got about, I think it's 12 different styles in 4 colors each. They're gorgeous. If you were here for the beginning of the video, then you saw how pretty they are. So yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for our live videos for this year, because when we come back next week, it will be 2017 and we'll have some great new projects for you. We'll be on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1:30 Pacific time, and then we're always here Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. on Facebook, and then Fridays at 4. So we will see you next week, see you next year. I hope everyone has a safe and happy new year, and we will see you again real soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.